This is Brian Russell and Walking and Talking Spirituality. Thanks for taking a walk with me. I'm super excited. My book on centering prayer is coming out, and I've been doing a lot of interviews on podcasts and such in a few days. And one of the things I've noticed is the anxiety and stress that I've actually been feeling as I've been talking about my book. And it's not so much the book itself, but it was the framing that I actually used in the book, because those of you who know me know that back in the fall of 2010, my life changed dramatically. My 20-year marriage, just within a month after my anniversary, was functionally over, and that sent me into a real crisis. And that's essentially the backstory for how I got to the point where, back in 2019, I would start these walking and or 2020, I would start these walking and talking spirituality videos, and even the book coming out. So that was kind of the backstory. So it's been a little painful actually to go back and re-experience all those feelings all over again from almost a decade ago. But one of the things I remember is I've been thinking about, how was it that I made it through that storm? Again, of course, grateful to God and friends, but one of the things that I think helped me long term, because I had that minute or moment when I realized it was going to be really dark and really hard for a long time, is I had this metaphor that I was in a storm, but that on the other side of that storm there was going to be blue sky again, and regardless of how difficult it was going to be, I was going to make a bounce back. I was going to be a better man, not a bitter man. And as I look back, I think the critical piece that allowed me to find a bigger purpose on the other side of the pain was I didn't start from neutral. And what I mean by that is, and I had this metaphor in my head even back when all this was happening, because there was a period when everything went numb on the inside of me, and I was dull, and I was legit running on fumes. But the difference for me was I had spent my whole life, and I still do, serving other people. I'd spent my whole life kind of preparing for a storm through prayer, through studying scripture, through personal development. And so I would say that when I hit my storm period, I was blessed because, and this is the metaphor, I had a big pile of wood behind my house. And and if you ever lived up north, and I grew up in Ohio, and we actually used to use a wood-burning stove to save money when I was growing up. So we'd go out in the summer and we'd cut trees down. I'd help my parents, and we'd load up wood. And we heated the house with, or supplemented the heating of the house with a wood-burning stove. And the key to using a wood-burning stove is to make sure you have enough wood to get through the winter. Yeah, that's a really powerful idea, isn't it? So when I look back to my storm, yeah, it was really hard. But by the time I sort of began to come back online, I still had at least a couple of pieces of wood back behind my house. And so what I'd built up my whole life sustained me during the darkest winter of my life. And I say that as a testimony to what deep dive spirituality can really do. And I've even gone deeper. And those that know me, I'm a changed person, I think. Again, I hope I am. And I'm still putting wood up behind the house. So what about you? Especially if you're in a decent place in your life right now, why don't you go even deeper now, so that when the storms of life do appear, or when the winter shows up, you'll have a supply of wood that can sustain you until you can get back to functioning in the 2.0 or the 3.0 version of yourself. If you're dealing with a difficult time right now, literally hang on to God and keep your practices But if you're not, keep your practices too, because someday you're going to be really glad you did. How big's the wood pile behind your house right now? Is it going to get you through winter? I'd love to have a conversation with you. Reach out to me at deepdivespirituality@gmail.com, or you can check out deepdivespirituality.com for resources. Brian Russell, until next time, live by faith, be known by love, and be a voice of hope to others.